So far, all our tools have been executing on the server. But what if applications need AI to interact directly with the user's environment? Think about scenarios where AI needs to access browser APIs, manipulate the DOM, interact with local storage, update your app state, require user confirmation before taking an action, or simply run some code automatically. That's where client-side tools come in. Client-side tools let the AI execute functions directly in the user's environment, which is the browser in our case. Instead of the server handling everything, the client takes over when appropriate. In this lesson, we'll build a practical example showcasing image transformations. We will use AI to remove the background as well as change the background to a new scene. The transformations will happen client-side, giving us instant results while maintaining the conversational AI experience. Let's start by duplicating our image generation tool implementation from the previous lesson. In the API folder, create a new folder called client-side tools and copy the route handler from generate image tool into this new folder. Copy route.ts, paste it in client-side tools. Similarly, in the UI folder, create a new folder called client-side tools and copy the page.tsx file from generate image tool into this new folder. Update the component name to client side tools page and update the API endpoint in the use chat hook /API /client side tools. Make sure to also update the chat message import /API /client side tools /route. Now, before we continue, we need to set up our image storage and transformation service. That brings us to ImageKit, our sponsor for this lesson. It is completely free to follow along, so go ahead and create an account using the link in the description. Once you have an account, you can get your credentials. In the dashboard, navigate to Developer Options, and here we will find the public key, the private key, and the URL endpoint. We will add these to the .env.local file. First, copy the URL endpoint and add it to the env file. Next, _public _ImageKit URL endpoint and paste the copied value. Next, copy the public key and add it to the env file. So next, _public _ImageKit public key and paste your value. Finally, copy the private key and add it to the env local file. To access the private key, we need to set a password. Let me quickly set up mine behind the scenes. And now I can enter that password and access the private key. Copy it and paste it in the .env.local file as ImageKit _private _key. Make sure to not prefix with next_public as you should not be exposing this. Now that we have the credentials, let's install the ImageKit packages. In the terminal, run the command npm install ImageKit and @ImageKit/next. We need two packages, ImageKit for the file upload in the route handler and ImageKit/next for the optimized image component in the UI. Once the packages are installed, update your next.config.ts file to allow ImageKit images. So scroll down and find next.config.ts and add a new configuration. Images, remote patterns is an array of objects. Protocol we set to HTTPS and host name ImageKit. So ik.imagekit.io. This tells Next.js to trust images from ImageKit's domain. Now let's modify our route handler to upload generated images to ImageKit. So open the route handler and first import ImageKit at the top. Import ImageKit from ImageKit. Now let's create an upload function. So before the tools definition, const upload image, and this is going to be equal to an async function. This function will receive the base64 encoded format of the image. So image of type string. Inside the function, first create an ImageKit client. So const ImageKit is equal to new ImageKit. We pass in an object where we set URL endpoint to process.env.next public ImageKit URL endpoint, our environment variable. We need to cast it to string. Next, we set public key to our public key environment variable. So process.env.next underscore public underscore ImageKit underscore public key as string. And finally, we set private key to process.env.ImageKit underscore private key as string. We are basically initializing ImageKit with our credentials from the environment variables. Now that we have the client, we can upload the image. So const response is equal to await ImageKit.upload. The upload method takes the base64 image and a file name. It will return the URL where the image is stored. So specify an object where file is equal to the image parameter, and file name, we can set it to generated underscore image.jpg. The upload image function will return the URL where the image is stored, so return response.url. Our function to upload image is ready, so let's update the generate image tool. Find the execute function, and here, instead of returning base64, let's upload to ImageKit. So const image URL is equal to await upload image, passing in image.base64, and we will return the image URL. This allows us to delete the two model output method we added previously. And what you see here is the right way to do this. Upload your image and return the image URL back to the AI to form a natural language response. For the next step, in the page component, we need to use ImageKit's image component. So at the top, replace import image from next/image to import image as a named export from at ImageKit/next. In the tool generate image output available case, where we render the image, update it to use the ImageKit component with the new image URL. The ImageKit image component needs the URL endpoint prop. So URL endpoint, and you set it to the environment variable process.env.next public ImageKit URL endpoint. The source is now a URL path rather than base64 data, so we can specify part.output. All right, let's save the file and test this. In the browser, navigate to localhost 3000/UI/client-side tools. We should see the chat interface. Let's enter a prompt. Let's try generate an image of an e-commerce product, a single image of a baseball cap. We have AI creating the prompt for us, and the image generates and displays. But now, if you check your ImageKit dashboard by clicking on Media Library, you will see the image is stored permanently. Now, ImageKit is a real-time media processing product that helps optimize, stream, and transform images and videos for the web. It comes with integrated storage and can also work with your own cloud storage, such as S3, GCP, etc. ImageKit can automatically compress and convert images and videos to a suitable format for every device. It offers more than 50 plus URL-based transformations for your images and videos, from simple resize and crop to more advanced features like AI-based crop and watermarking. They also offer SDKs for popular frameworks and languages. In this lesson, we are using their Node and Next.js package on their forever free plan. Now, what makes ImageKit particularly powerful is its image transformation capabilities. You can transform images simply by adding query parameters to the URL. Since transformations work through URL parameters, they happen instantly on the client side. And since we want these transformations using natural language, this is a perfect fit for client-side tools. Let's go back to our code and add client-side tools for background removal as well as changing the background. In the route handler, let's start with the transformation tools. So after generate image tool, add a change background tool. Let's call this change background. We use the tool helper function with an object. We specify the description as replace image background with AI generated scenes based on text prompt. Now add the input schema. So input schema, z.object. And here we need the image URL and a description of the new background. So image URL is going to be z.string.describe URL of the uploaded image, and then a background prompt property, which is z.string again, and we describe it as description of the new background. We'll also specify some examples. We will use backticks as we need to use double quotes. Let's go with modern office, maybe a tropical beach sunset, or a mountain landscape. Perfect. Next, we will add the output schema, which is something new. This dictates the type of data that the tool will return. We will return a string, which is the URL of the transformed image. So z.string.describe the transformed image URL. Now you might have noticed something important here. We don't have an execute function. That is because this tool executes on the client side. Along similar lines, let's add a background removal tool as well. So remove background is a tool. We'll specify a description, remove the background of an image. We'll specify the input schema, so z.object. We require just the image URL, which is the URL of the uploaded image. And finally, output schema, z.string.describe the transformed image URL. Again, no execute function. The server just defines what the tool does. Now for the magic. Open the page component, and we will handle these tools on the client side. First, we will update the import from AI. Along with default chat transport, we need last assistant message is complete with tool calls. This helper determines when to automatically continue after tool calls. We'll use it in just a moment, but first, before the component, create a helper function. So function build transformation URL, and as the name indicates, this function will build our transformation URLs. Remember, all our transformations are simple URL based thanks to ImageKit. The function accepts base URL as a string and the transformation as a string. It will return a string value. Within the function body, we check if the URL already has query parameters. So base URL dot includes question mark, and if it does, we need the ampersand symbol. Otherwise, we append the question mark. And this is our separator. We then return a string, which is the base URL, followed by the separator, followed by ImageKit's transformation. The query parameter is tr is equal to, and we append the transformation. Very simple. Now update the use chat hook. First, destructure a function called add tool result. Again, as the name indicates, this will allow us to add tool results manually on the client side. Next, add the configuration for automatic sending. So send automatically when, and we set it to last assistant message is complete with tool calls. This tells the hook to automatically continue when tool calls complete. Next, add the on tool call handler. So async on tool call. This function runs when the AI calls a tool, so we can run the execute function logic client side. The function is called with the tool call object, so tool call, which contains the tool name, input, and tool call ID. Inside the function, we'll first check if the tool call is dynamic and simply return if it is. So if toolCall.dynamic return. Dynamic tools are tools where the input and output types are not known at compile time. They're primarily useful when integrating with MCP tools. For us, we just need this check to narrow down the types for change background and remove background tools we've defined. Next, let's handle our tools with a switch statement. So switch toolCall.toolName, and we will use this tool name to determine which logic to execute. For case change background, From tool call dot input, we will destructure image URL and background prompt. Now, if you don't do this dynamic check, you will get type errors when you try access the input properties. Something to keep in mind. But once you have the image URL and background prompt, we can build the transformation URL. So const transformation is equal to, and this is an ImageKit transformation. It's simply e-change bg hyphen prompt followed by the actual prompt. So hyphen dollar curly braces background prompt. And the transformed URL is going to be build transformation URL, passing in the base image URL as well as the transformation. Finally, add the tool result to the messages array using the add tool result function. Add tool result, pass in an object. The tool is change background. Tool call ID is going to be tool call dot tool call ID, and output is going to be the transformed URL. In case you were wondering, add tool call result was destructured from the use chat hub. Let's actually put this in a block, as we will use similar variables for remove background as well. So for case remove background, we will have a similar pattern but with a simpler transformation. Once again, we'll have curly braces for block scoping. We'll extract image URL from tool call dot input. We'll define the transformation, which is simply e-remove bg. Remember, these are ImageKit transformations. And then const transformed URL is equal to build transformation URL. You pass in the base image URL with the transformation. Finally, call add tool result, passing in an object with tool set to remove background, tool call ID set to tool call dot tool call ID, and output set to transformed URL. Our client-side tools are ready. Let's add UI to show these transformations. In the message rendering switch, after tool generate image, let's add cases for change background and remove background. First, case tool hyphen change background. We need a switch statement for part.state, and I will paste the code for case input available. We're simply displaying changing background to, followed by the background prompt. We're showing the user what's happening when the tool is called. And I will also paste the output available case. So case output available. We render the text background changed, and we use the ImageKit component for Next.js to render the transformed image. And since the code is very similar for remove background, let me paste the code. Case tool hyphen remove background, switch statement on part.state. For input available, we're going to render the text removing background, and for case output available, we're going to render the text background image along with the transformed image. Once again, we're using ImageKit's image component for Next.js. All the code is available on my GitHub repo, and a link is in the description, so please pause the video if you want to go and grab the code. But our UI component is now complete. Time to see this magic in action. Navigate to localhost 3000/UI/client-side tools and generate a prompt. First, I'll enter the prompt, a single image of a saucepan with lid. Press enter, and the AI will take a few seconds to generate the image. The image is generated along with some text. We also get the full ImageKit URL for reference. But now, we can simply type change the background to a dining table for the saucepan and press enter. Now watch what happens. The AI calls the change background tool, the client builds the transformation URL, and the transformed image appears instantly. No server round trip for the transformation. Our change background transformation is working perfectly. Now let's try remove background. And I realized this should be e-bg remove. Back in the browser, we can enter the prompt, a single image of a saucepan on a dining table. Press enter, and we see the AI enhancing our prompt. This prompt will be sent to DALL-E 3, and the image generation is in progress. Give it a few seconds, and our image is generated. Now we can simply prompt, can you remove the saucepan background? Press enter, and we should see our image without any background. All the transformations are happening client-side through ImageKit's parameters transformation. Very simple, as you can see. Now, if you want to, you can chain remove background and change background, but make sure to update the step count to 3 or higher. So as an exercise, go ahead and generate a new image using DALL-E 3, and then change the background using ImageKit's Change Background tool, and then remove the background using ImageKit's Background Removal tool. Now, ImageKit supports a lot of transformations. You have Change Background, Edit Image, Generative Fill, AI Drop Shadow, Retouch, Upscale, and a lot more. Very useful when working with media-heavy apps like an e-commerce site. But the key insights for this lesson are that server-side tools define capabilities without execution, client-side handlers process tool calls instantly in the browser, and natural language maintains the conversational experience. You will reach out to client-side tools for medium to large applications, and hopefully this gives you a clear picture of how to use them.